Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Om. Thank you for joining me today for the 8th day talk as a series of celebration towards Maha Shivaratri. How are we going to prepare ourselves for this great event? And we have been sharing in-depth subject matter, starting from the cosmic golden light of Shiva is the one which is descending, and what is the power within that. And we have seen the power of devotion, what is the degree of devotion, and how we can ascend, seeing through the prana field, seeing through the field of the soul consciousness, which developed as 7 chakras, and how we can ascend through this, and the power of mantra, how we can place them, and what is the power of such vibration, what it can elevate you. All this we have been saying. Today's topic being, what is meant by Shiva's dance in our consciousness? The golden hall dance, golden truth consciousness dance. And we are going to see the meaning of the one of the mantra which we'll be using above head. It's from the Rudra Anuvakam 2, the mantra 2 from the Anuvakam. So, Maha Shiva Rahtri. We have been seeing this term Maha Shiva. Are we giving another name for the same thing? Shivana Shiva, what is that? Maha Shiva, small Shiva. See, Shiva being the different degrees of his manifestation. That is what we are naming, the different degrees of manifestation, not naming Shiva with different name. It is not that. So his different degrees of manifestation and his most potent unmanifest state of his potency within that dynamism within him, that we call Mahashiva. So this potent Mahashiva is descending. Aham Brahmasmi, Ayamatma Brahma Tattvamasi, Shivoham, Aham Shiva. This is all being understood. The problem is we are trying to understand the supermind through the human's rational mind. This is where the clash begins. This is where you could not be able to enter into this source, because it wants answers from a rational mind. A rational mind is a mind which, science is all about subject-object differentiation. So as much as science is contemplating on the object, they have forgotten who is the subject, who is contemplating on that object, this subject. So this subject, which is conscious of that object, become the main source, without which the object doesn't survive in front of you if you are not there. Therefore, this source, the subject, which we call Shiva. We have seen some of its intricacies, one of which Shivam takes up its criticality state at different stages. One of the most critical state which he had expressed himself is the human body and the Mother Earth, separating from the rest of his expanding other forms of his. So therefore, this source, which takes different forms, even from a reptile to a mountain, the same source is forming itself. So this source within itself has all the power to pull the Mahashiva. So what is this descent? This descent, which has potent wisdom within it. This descender has the potent wisdom within it. As we ascend through our chakras, which we are going to see and perform that on Mahashivaratri, we are ascending to different layers of our existence. There's going to be 5 different mantras which we are going to use in all our chakras. And every time it gives an ascension to a higher realization. That part of it is done due to our employing the mantras into the consciousness field, and it ascends. This ascension comes up to a state, like when we are using our Sivaya Siva mantra, where literally you could be able to experience that the body is no more interested to move itself, and the mind also totally shut down. When the mind totally shut down, what happens is that this is where the cosmic dance of Shiva is going to be interpreted here. So what happens when it ascends itself to a higher degree of realization, the consciousness expansion, it taps into the higher expression of Shiva. So this ascension is only going to help you release the entrapped Shivam in you. In the process of it is ascending through all the chakras above the head. At this point, something happens to the body, a part of a body, something happens to a part of a body, part of an organ, the human brain. Since at this moment of ascending, where the pranic field becomes to the most mild, you don't even sense that you are breathing, where you're focused into your Mahaprana with all these practices that we are going to do. And the more you do it, the brain, the cortex of the brain, the layer of the brain doesn't think. The entire brain ceases to think. Since it ceases to think, the pressure of this Mahaprana around the whole brain will cease it to think, and it will travel to the very meat of the brain. In this, they call that the thalamus. The inner brain start thinking. It is no more a rational thinking for a rational mind, because the brain ceases to think, and a single part of the brain, the inner brain, start thinking. The inner brain thinking is we call God's brain, thinking from the God's brain. This is the effect of the descending power of Shiva on Mahashivaratri. I hope you are all with me. This happens by itself with our devotion and love towards this great being called Shiva. The rest will be done. This tool only we need devotion. That's all. Devotion, as I told you, layers, different degrees of devotion. The highest devotion becomes every part of me is you. I surrender to you. This part of devotion does this. So within this descending Shiva, there is a different component on the ascension. There is a different component. It deals with other layers. But when it reaches to a state of criticality, actually it's a state of criticality, because brain doesn't function, the inner brain function, the body refuses to move, the mind has nothing for it to think, because it is focusing on something called so-called the nothing within the silence and stillness. There, when you enter into this and start tapping into Shiva Mahaprana, this load of flow of consciousness which comes back to the Sahasrara, and from there it works its way into somewhere above the uvula, just below, there's another nadi, a Brahma nadi, just below that, which is somewhere around, if you do a imaginary line from this year to this year, 1 year to the other, an imaginary line coming from the top, and that meeting point there. So that meeting point, when the descent effect happens only through a descent effect, this is very critical. The power of the ascension will not have this particular effect, which could be able to release cosmic information into you. And this cosmic information is above a higher plane, a realm. We are not talking about a place in time and space, a point in time and space. We are not talking about that. These are different planes. Due to ascension, since Maha Shivaratri is a arranged, premeditated, pre-planned by the supermind, which is going to manifest, when it is coming with that power, only with the descent power, it can work within the midbrain to release to it. First, find out what does the midbrain secrete. Of course, many dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, this kind of good hormones release. At the same time, it gives all the information for your DNA to function also. The pineal does that. If those codes, which are highly subtle, definitely has to be a sound vibration giving these codes, ACTG, to different parts of our body now functioning at this time. So the same manifesting Shiva at this time, taking different forms within this human body and everywhere, also must hold within it the power to express the potency of Shiva. The cosmic information start secreting as a golden liquid from the midbrain and pass it on throughout your spine. This is where the expression of Shiva as a dance is witnessed through your spine and your midbrain. It is a cosmic wave, definitely. And you have to watch it. The more you focus the movements of the consciousness at your midbrain through the descending effect, there that focus will give the consciousness to have a higher, different degree of movement of light. Here, when we say light of fire, these are divine matter. In the Saiva Sampradaya, we call this as Irai Porul, divine particle. It's a particle as such. Though it is not a particle as such as a grain is a particle, these are divine particles which cannot be destroyed due to the potency of it. It's a particle because it carries within it all the cosmic information about your true higher being. So it enters into another state of criticality within you because this wisdom, this knowledge, Shiva, blocks, veils the knowledge also, as much as he reveals it also. It cannot reveal wisdom in an animal or a plant kingdom because it holds itself. So the same Shivam, the intelligence, releases itself of its magnanimity within the human body at specific point. The more you allow it to express itself, the more you merge into Shiva. It has to express itself. You have to allow that expression. Allowing that expression is to watch the cosmic dance in your consciousness. That's the expression. You experience it and allow his expression without you getting attracted to anything. Just watch as a witness consciousness, see the movements, what is happening within your consciousness through the ascension. When the descent is happening, allow it. This is the surrender. This is the method to surrender. So Mahashivaratri is a greatest day for all yogis and siddhas. All spiritual seekers, this is the day to attain what you really want to attain as a yogi. But can we separate this event from a householder only for the yogis? Well, I'm not sure where we went from. It is for humanity. It is for the cosmic evolution to happen without any blockings, without any obstruction. So it's a must that we allow this descending of Shiva to do all those changes a spiritual seeker need to, because he is a cosmic wisdom. He will release his expression as and when it is needed, knowing who is attracting him. Are you connecting it? I hope so. You are connecting it. Sometimes the English grammar fails to explain the invisible reality. Sure. Therefore, we have to pick up sentence and trying to make it up here, because I'm watching and seeing and telling it how this descending power work in a person, how it needs to reveal itself. It reveals itself. All we need to do is to, for that night, put aside the world, everything, put aside everything, just put aside for that night only. Just you and your supermind involved to awaken all that which is sleeping. The ascension doesn't awaken the deeper layer of your mind. The ascension doesn't have the power to remove remnants which are still existing even upon enlightenment, unless the descent effect is being allowed to enter into your entire system. The mind receives light as per Mahashiva. So this is a complete work we have to give to our body, mind, and soul for the well-being, for your life, which will stretch to the world. So the Mahashivaratri holds importance. It is not a religious event here. Shiva is not a god as such. It is a reality which takes different critical stages in order to form a creation, form anything. And that criticality state is what it holds, within which God realization and self-realization, enlightenment, freedom, it holds within it. All we need to do is to focus to the maximum as how much you can do through dharana dhyana. To focus alone, you can watch Shiva Tandava. Shiva Tandava, don't you think so? This is a dance of a dancer, a unique, splendid dance with extreme potent intricate involvement to a perfected order in everything you see. At one go, he danced throughout. It's a dance of Shiva. Where do you see that? Isn't it? It's a dance, there must be a dancer. Not you, Shiva, the great performer, the great magician, has to be allowed to dance to perfect you, your body, your mind, your life, your soul, because it deals with Andamum Adiyam, ever from below to top. He is the one. When he comes as a descending factor in you, that's the greatest blessings. Can we sacrifice that one night for well-being, for yourself, for the world, for every beings, which we need it much more? So the celebration has to be from the state of stillness, silence, and nothing else is going to make this Mahashivaratri a purposeful Mahashivaratri. It has a purposefulness, isn't it? If my birth here as a human, it has a purposefulness of divinizing the human body to a divine light. There's a purposefulness within Shiva. If this night is being premeditated, pre-planned, there must be a supreme purposefulness that everyone own me in fullness, Mahashiva, full and complete. My, whatever the power, full and complete. Yesterday, I wanted to quote a very important topic. That's why I said I've got time. But I swallowed it because it's a huge topic. But I have to connect it now so that we can understand that better after. Big topic, enlightenment has different degrees of enlightenment. Enlightenment is not just enlightenment. People don't even, if it's light, we have to define the word light. If it's enlightened, then we have to define a lots of things before ending up to what enlightenment is, because lots of words we use that as moktumiksha, moksha. It has a different component altogether, not just with the word enlightenment there. So different degrees of enlightenment. So when you ascend your individuality through all these channels of the chakras, where your soul is united with the Mahaprana, and it is above the head, where you see the world. When this kind of ascension happens, an experience happens to a sadhak, where he is aware that he is sleeping. I'm talking about a person is aware that he's sleeping. He's aware that he is dreaming. A dream can be a conscious dream. In the wakeful state, he will be awakened to the truth. He see all these three from the fourth witness. It happens. The more you focus on your consciousness, you see yourself as witnessing all these 3 degrees in one go. You're sleeping also, you are aware. The dream also, you are aware. The waking state also, you are aware of all 3 states. This is where the actual ascension can get to a higher degree, where there are different planes altogether. In different planes altogether, we got these 4 degrees of Saloka, Samipya, Sarupa, Sayujya, big topics. So Saloka becoming close to a higher plane of higher beings, higher sources, higher worlds, many other. And the ascension, having a freedom from that layer to another layer of experience, that is another state of enlightenment. Then that becomes Samipya. Can I come closer to this source, of this source which is above many other planes, as Mahashiva? So the more you go closer, then you get higher influence, And your mind will have a higher degree of realization from there to understand that part of it, where the soul can enter into the being of Shiva. Aham Shiva, I am you, your soul is my soul. It's a different degree, but entering into Sarupa, your Rupa, your form, your golden form, with all this intelligence, my soul is entering. That's another degree of enlightenment, sir. The wisdom you which pours from there, from Mahaguru into your consciousness, can be very heavy. It is, even for the human body to contain that, it is too difficult. Then upon getting your Sarupa, becoming his form, you become a Sahayujya. Yujya, you attain the quality of what? Shiva, creative power. Owning Shiva's creative power. The enlightenment states, this state of accomplishing until owning creative power of Shiva, the source who attain this, we call them Mahasiddhas. These Mahasiddhas, upon attaining all that which Shiva can do, they transcend back to Mother Earth with that power holding of Mahashiva in their consciousness. They spread it to Mother Earth, not taking that for their usage to create another creation to become another Shiva. No, bringing that because the human consciousness find it very difficult for them to break free even for a self-realization. Since it is very far for them in this Kali Yuga, Mahasiddhas bring that cosmic light back to Mother Earth and start spreading, so that this possibility of God realization can be given to people even in Mother Earth. This is what the descending power of Shiva is. And this Siddhas bring that power of Shiva, transform them into a form that they can see, and they call that they have completed their human birth. These are called the Mahasiddhas. And these Siddhas have revealed this truth on Mahashivaratri, a very potent truth, where it enters into you to do different forms of his color and power and light traveling in you. We will see what are the forms and where he danced. One of the power this Mahashiva can give when he enters into the human consciousness. At this time, this human consciousness is an expanded field of an enlightened consciousness. When it descends, it gives a Gnostic change in the human mind. This rational mind has elevated into itself into an intuitive and an insight mind which can perceive higher beings and attract higher beings and have experience of higher beings. But what this Mahashiva descending power, when it enters, it brings a Gnostic mind. A Gnostic mind is a mind which is a mystic, because it starts perceiving mysticism back in Mother Earth within the body, the mystic, secret. Life becomes a mystic life. He doesn't see a world that can pull you towards addiction. It sees a world full of perfection and joy, because he sees the world as a mystic dance of Shiva, mysticism. This mysticism can only be realized when one is enjoying the waves of Shiva in one's human consciousness. So, see some of the verses. There's a lot to see. As much as you strive, so much is His grace bestowed. What is the grace which is going to be bestowed? Is that Maha Shiva descending into Mother Earth through a medium which has a focused intention, a vibration by which the descent happens within the human. Therefore, how much you strive is a factor here that we have to see. How much are we striving in order for the grace of Mahashiva to be bestowed in you? Even as you strive to reach wisdom bounds, even so on you, Hara the being first, his grace bestows. In Shaba unique, he danced for Uma to behold, like a flaming ruby in a flaming sky. So this flaming ruby, in one of my articles that I've written on the midbrain theory, which I really did not go to the intricacies of it because it's a huge work. So there is a peacock eye within which it holds a ruby. The science has found that the midbrain holds crystal, which we term that as a ruby. That crystal is what we call the inner Shivalinga, which the science call that as the God particle, the Higgs boson, which is existing within the human body at the midbrain. The more we can apply a focus with a mantra called C mantra. The application for the C mantra becomes Sivoham mantra, which comes along with another mantra called Soham, where you intertwine the Sivoham in between and focusing the Sivoham at a particular given point, and you watch the focus dharana power of watching creates an energy. That energy crystallizes itself. That crystallization is the one which is going to glow the ruby, and the ruby gets lighted, and the lighted ruby releases the liquid, and the flow of the golden liquid will be the dance which we see on Mahashivratri Day. These are not words of phantom. It is truth. Why it becomes word of phantom or something which people will laugh and giggle about? Because we are trying to know the supermind with a small little rational mind, which is depending on all the algorithm which you have been studying from books outside and trying to show the torch to the sky, trying to know what is that. Let us not do that mistake. Come out from the rational mind. How do we come out from the rational mind is the factor here. The cleansing of the Srivaya Nama, that mantra. That is the mantra. You know what it does? Hey son, shut up. Shut your mind. We don't need this for that. Shut. The more you shut your mind, the more it wants to use its more powerful mind. You shut it, it wants to use it more power. That's what the mind will do. Then it wants to reach to a higher degree of mind. How are you going to strive? How are you going to place that focus? How are you going to show your devotion? How are you going to show your love? Is what matters here. And the love the devotion, the dharana, the power, the yoga, all this technique with the, all this is nothing stands in front of a devotee who says, I want to dance with you. You don't need to know all this 10 days lecture. You need to focus. Watch. When Ramana came 8 years old, what did he study? 8-year-old boy, 9-year-old boy went through death, full animation of death given to him. But Arunachala Shiva, that's all he wanted. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. There he went and went and went. The descent energy entered into him. He became Arunachala permanently. So strive for that one night. Anubutti ankara chittani naham na cha shrotra jigve na cha krana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. I am Shiva. Whole is nothing. Everything is nothing. I am alone. I am Shiva. That strife we will go, and we can go. From the peaks of cranium ranges, the heavenly waterfall, unceasing cascades, coursing prana through the spinal channel. There on the stony arena of Mount Meru within, the Lord performs his timeless dance, that unending bliss light I witnessed. What? With the coursing prana from the Muladhara through the spinal channel. When we are doing our Shivaratri sadhana, we will be doing a basic pranayama, where we inhale it from the spine all the way to Sahasrara, hold it, release. Again, inhale through the spine, hold it, release. Inhale through the spine, hold it, release. This is the preparation of the cosmic dance to be flowered at the cranium center. So coursing prana through the spinal channel, there on the stony arena in Mount Meru. So spine, the prana start spreading through your spine, then it has to meet its end, and that very end which it's meet will be the stony arena, which we say the Crystal Palace, which is at the Mount Meru, Kailasha. The Lord performed his timeless dance there. That is where the timeless dance of the Lord has to be watched throughout the night. The unending bliss light I witnessed. So, this cosmic light, cosmic dance is something which we allow Shiva to dance in my consciousness. The expression of which has to flow throughout you. So, how to reach there? Within the locked body is trapped the life breath. Cause it to the land that no desire knows. They who fix their gaze on gold true will reach the mango fruit that in the garden there hangs. This is the Siddha language. Mangai, mango. So what is this mango? That is in the garden hangs. And you fix your gaze on this mango, in which there will be no other desire but to align yourself with this soul. What is this? That mango is the midbrain, which they call the pineal, which has a shape like a small little mango, which has a tip, and from that tip, the mangai pal, they used to say, the milk of the mango secretes throughout your spine. That secreting is where the cosmic dance of Shiva happens in the human body. So why is this being said here? You see, they who sought the dancer as their goal gain many things goodly. and so stood in the path of the Holy Scriptures, seeking him within and experience his presence. In eagerness, they sit and on with Shiva become. So, what is here? So stood in the path of the Holy Scriptures. When we say scriptures, we are not talking about a religion as such, please. And this speech or talk which is going on has nothing to do from a platform of a study, because this is mainly directed towards Mahashivaratri. Study platform must have more other ingredients in it. Therefore, when we say scriptures, do not see it from a religious standpoint. These are the words which reveals a higher invisible reality which is present in us. That becomes a scripture. It's a human language. It's a whatever the human constitute are making this body is that which the scriptures say about. So with the understanding what the scriptures say about, what is the understanding of the scriptures which I've been talking about for the past 8 days, with all the intricacies which not known to the rational mind. Only the higher mind can know this, the intuitive mind can know this. There are possibilities where you can drop your body, mind, senses and shut them off and get your soul, bring it higher and expand into high consciousness, tap into the elevated beings, get all the grace, power into your soul, and the more you ascend, the descending power comes in by itself on Mahashivaratri day. So, how are we going to work this out is a process which I've been explaining for past 8 days of different mantras, and the passageways which we are going to use to employ me aligned with Shiva is what being taught in order for us to celebrate Mahashivaratri. We are going to celebrate Mahashivaratri from the yogic and the Siddha way of celebration. There can be many ways of celebrations. There's many ways of eating also, many ways of making merry, happiness. But this specific way of celebrating Mahashivaratri is the yogic way. As I told you, yogis are not born yogis. They have transformed themselves to perfect their life, to perfect their body, to perfect the mind according to the will of Shiva, and they surrendered, they become yogi. And whoever is interested in that Shiva which they are praying to, they are all yogis. We are all yogis. We are humans who are going to convert, transform themselves to divine. So this stage of transforming from human to divine, what are they called? Whether you do it consciously, whether you are doing it unconsciously, you are going through the perfection. We are all yogis. Yogi means to be in union with my reality. That's what yoga means, to be in union. And one who is trying to be in union, he is a yogi. In this case, every one of us are here, or else we won't be sitting down here listening to this. Because you are a yogi, therefore you are attracted to the Yoga Shastra, in which these great secrets have been given to you so that you express Shiva on Mahashivaratri day. This Tirumandaram has a lots of these songs which are in depth. How do you see the dancer? Take up your pen, very important point. How to see the dancer. It says, chant letter of dance, C. The C, Sivaya Nama Nama Si, that Si, that which holds Agni within that. Chant letter of dance Si. That is why in our sadhana, you see the final ascension is Si. We are going to use 5 different mantras, right? The final ascension becomes Si. How do you see the dancer? Many other ways. Verse number 935. Many other ways. Chant first letter of dance Si. Thou with dancer will one in thought be, that the way to see the dancer truly. So we do an ascension of different mantras in all our chakras, and every time you ascend with a specific sound, it elevates your soul to another higher degree of expression. Another elevation with another specific sound pushes your soul higher to another reality, and we go to this particular reality of see, again placing your focus on the Shiva Maha Prana as a cosmic light, and within which this is Shiva which I'm holding. Carry this Nada Bindu as a truth and place them in whichever chakras and chant Sivoham. See, you will only have this effect when the rest of the preparation is being done. In this case, Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Shiva, Shivaya, see, and all these things, this higher elevation, when we are chanting this see, you will just mingle into it. Thou with dancer will one in thought. This elevation part of the Sivoham, where we are going to seed Sivoham in all our chakras. We come to above head also. Sivoham, see. So all these things must be experienced as a human being. If as a human being, we must experience this greatest bliss, which Shiva already given everything inside in us. What is inside? Then Mahashiva is also given. How? By giving you the power to bring it to your body. That's how it's given. You understand it? It is given as a power to pull it down. That's the human's potentiality power. So C mantra is a mantra which I will be explaining about C mantra maybe on the final day, I think so, Wednesday. But to watch Shiva's dance is the focus on the midbrain. See, when you are doing a process of this ascension with the master, because we are all united as one soul. What we call higher realization is at any one point, at any one given point, you are able to enter into your unified oneness consciousness. And from that unified consciousness, whatever you vibrate, you can channel that divinity to anybody at any one time. That's a strength, again, in a human body, where you can enter into the oneness and vibrate. Spooky action at a distance, isn't it? What you vibrate here, 3,000 miles away, you can make it vibrate on another person just by your focus power, the devotion power that we are all one. And we are going to use this power of that oneness in Shivoham, see, and allow the supermind to flow into you, because see is the one rolling the red carpet for Maha Shiva to enter into you, because you're watching the dance, you're watching the focus. This is the process of Mahashivaratri happening, the dance within you. We'll see another verse. Holy devotees are they who bliss of Hara's feet attained. Holy devotees are they who in Hara entered. Holy devotees are they who to see holy feet cling. Holy devotees are they who witness the true golden dance of Shiva from within. These are the holy devotees. What are the holy devotees? Who holds Shiva's feet within them. What is Adi? Because we cannot say feet here in English, and what it the terminology in Tamil differs. We say feet means is human feet. Again, the rational mind trying to understand something here. Adi means Tiruvadi, divine prana, cosmic prana of Shiva. Who are the true devotee of Shiva? Who blends his individual prana, the inhalation, exhalation, into merging into Shiva Mahaprana, they become Shiva devotees. Those who can enter their soul into Shiva Mahaprana, again through focus. Om Namah Shivaya is his sound form, and I take that sound form where I, the individuality, become the sound and enter into his sound form. While chanting Om Namah Shivaya, it is not as I told, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. No, no, no. Focus into consciousness stillness and chant Om Namah Shivaya. You are spreading his sound form into your consciousness very skillfully. Seed it, and let this travel. Then you chant again Om in consciousness. Those becomes the true devotee, taking their form, transforming into Shiva's form through words and blending into him. And holy devotees are the one upon entering, cling into the Mahaprana. Cling into the Mahaprana, the focus must be totally into Shiva Mahaprana. So I will teach this to you maybe day after tomorrow. Soham, Shivoham. Shivoham is clinging, in which the absorption happens. Your individual soul get absorbed into him. And watching the absorption happening, because you are playing the game, you will know the whole process of it. That's the best part of it. You'll be conscious of the absorption. When the absorption happens, this is descent power of Mahashivaratri happening. To witness this absorption as a dance is a true devotee of Shiva. And that's what it has said. So with this understanding, we are going to celebrate Mahashivaratri. This is a series of talk from the first day until today. It's all interlinked together. I hope I have placed the cards properly on the table, every step. Till today, we have been seeing that the cosmic dance of Shiva, which happens within the thalamus, within the midbrain, within the crystal palace, the God's particle, in the human head, where the descent happens, and to watch that as Shivoham and focusing that Mahaprana through your spine, blowing its light, that becomes Mahashivaratri, which we are going to do. And there's one mantra here, which we will be reciting while ascending to above head on the fourth kala. Yes, on the fourth kala. The mantra goes here. Rudram Anuvakam. Namaste astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triyambakaya Tripurantakaya, Trikalaknikalaya, Kalaknirudraya, Nilagandaya, Mrityunjayaya, Sarvesvaraya, Sada Shivaya, Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Understanding? Mahadeva, Mahashiva. Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. How he ascend, how he descend into you. Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishwesvaraya. Bhagavan, Bhaga, the word has sixfold quality within it. It's a big theory there. Even the word Bhaga has so much of components within it that Bhaga, as a Vishwesvaraya, the Vishwarupa, all forms, all names, everything, this potent Shiva, which is Bhaga with all its qualities within, which is all name, all forms of the creation as Vishwesvaraya, takes the form of Mahadeva. He is Mahashiva, potent. Everything is within which. He is existing Triyambakaya at all three sides. As we have seen, the cosmic Bindu transform as a pattern as another. There is three Icha, Kriya, Jnana, Sattva, Rajatamo, by which different forms have formed. So as a Triyambaka, he manifesting himself as Triyambaka, Tripurantakaya. Within this creation, the expanding creation, he is living within this Tripurantakaya, Trikalaknikalaya, the three kala, the past, present, future. These are all from the point of existing time and space. And he becomes the Kala Agni, who ends time, where there's no time, neither space, he who ends time, therefore no death, please. Ends time means there's no death. What we call death is another expression of his to another formation, which doesn't have a three dimension, but it has a formation. It expressing itself, Shiva himself expressing himself into another medium in order to bring that same thing to light also. This is evolution. He's playing, expressing himself. As I said, criticality stages of Shiva is unimaginable, especially the human body, what kind of criticality state he should have taken to design himself as very small so that the matter becomes higher and he becomes so. It's truly critical to do that. So Trikalagni Kalaya, Kala Agni Rudraya, Kala Agni, the fire of time, the fire of destruction. Here, in yogic term, the Kala Agni Rudraya is that Agni which dissolute our karmic vibration. This is what he destroys. Because with this, your soul cannot be elevated. So the focus is done as his expression of Agni at Manipura to remove the ego consciousness from you. Here, the ego consciousness, which is also the expression of Shiva. Please listen. Ego is a separative ego. It is a teacher which separates itself and giving you the difference of Viveka, that what would be that if ego is not there? What would be the experience when the ego is there? Unless this ego is there, you will know this differentiation, the duality. Therefore, ego. Ego is a blessing. It is itself Shiva as a teacher, teaching you the world, what it's all about. He's the one pushing you to an incident, pushing you to involve in certain karmic activities. It is not that. It is pushing you to see the difference, which one you want to choose. Ego is a big topic. It's an agent by Shiva. So That Kalagni Rudraya Nilakandaya, which he has a black throat, because he consumes our poison in him, which he knows how to remove it. But his Nilakanda, who consumes our pain and our karmic, by which Mrityunjaya give you the victory over death, because the three-dimensional body death is not considered death. When you know that the very living thing doesn't die, this three-dimensional body drop for this to travel, take the path to reach where it's supposed to. So Mrityunjaya is actually a blessing. Mrityunjaya, win over, victory over death. Sarvesvaraya, at this point, he becomes everywhere. Sarvesvaraya, Sada Shivaya, always Shiva. You always standing as Sada Shiva. And that is called Sri Mahadevaya. I am calling you with this cosmic power, which all we have seen, that potency to enter into me, Mahashivaratri. Take over me, O Shiva. This is a celebration of Mahashivaratri. Now, this is close your eyes. Bring your focus to the source of your soul. In between the inhalation and exhalation, there is the source doing the inhalation and exhalation. And that's Shiva Mahapran. Keep watching it. In the stillness, silence, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, Om Shivaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, Om Shivaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, Om Shivaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah, Om Shivaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya. I'm one with you, Shiva. I'm not different from you. With my complete understanding, I'm uttering this, that I am Shiva. Shiva, I am. I start my life journey with this realization that makes my life a complete divine life. That I thank you. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva. Namah Shivaya. என்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். சிவசிதம்பரம்.